Me, Tom, and my good mate James. How are you, sir?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good, I'm grand, thank you. Still in lockdown, but there's a bit of sunshine over the horizon.
There is, yeah, and it's actually sunny today as well. So
Yeah, exactly, in the literal sense, yeah. So
yeah,
it's not looking too bad, mate.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, but apart from that, everything's good. Things in the world of football. As our readers, as our listeners would know, I'm not actually going to talk about football this week because of they know I'm a Liverpool fan
Yeah.
and they know how well we've been doing. So
Yeah.
no, I'm
Yeah.
only joking. You have to take the rough with the smooth. You can't have it all roses and sunshine all the time.
Well, that's it. I mean, you couldn't get a word in edgeways with your last season. You
Yeah,
know.
and I don't want to talk about Crew. Let's talk about Liverpool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Do you know what we've just won? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you know how good we are? Yeah.
another trophy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's what goes up must come down, and boys, it come down.
Yeah. 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 What's happening, mate? We've asked this last month, didn't we?
Yeah,
It was just at the start, wasn't it, of the dip in form and
yes, we said last time, didn't we, on our last podcast, and our listeners would know this, that Liverpool have a crucial 6 games ahead of them in order to save not only a chance or a slim chance of actually winning the Premiership again, retaining it, but also to get a Champions League place. So, in them 6 games, we started off really well. With a win, and then we failed completely after every other one.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. Just looking, it was kind of the Burnley game, was it, that really kicked it off?
Yeah,
Oh, there was Southampton, wasn't there?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
so
Actually, it goes back a bit further than that.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So at the time of the last podcast, we were saying, oh, look, the games you got coming up, Tom. You got Man City, you got Leicester, you got Tottenham, that kind of thing. And we're like, yeah, we've really got to win. So we started off really well with Tottenham. Like there was a bit of sunshine shining through with Tottenham and stuff. We just lost to Burnley, so it was with Tottenham. We've got a 3-1 win away, which is no easy feat. At that ground with that manager who likes to park the bus to get 3 goals.
Yeah.
Thought doing great. Fine, it's kicking on. Let's go on. Then on to West Ham, 3-1 again. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, this is looking good, more promising. The new year's starting to turn now. And then it all just went very horribly wrong for the past 4, 5, 6 games. First of all was a loss away to Brighton. Sometimes you can put that down to a bad day. Everyone has a bad day. Brighton played brilliantly. Fair enough. Then, what was Fortress Anfield for the past 4 years or 3 years, whatever the record was, has now become free-for-all Anfield because City come and scored 4 goals against us and we got 1 back. That's, even for a team as good as City, that's pretty shocking.
So even after that massive run of whatever it was, 60-odd games without defeat at
Yeah.
Anfield, you kind of lost 3 in a row, haven't you?
Yeah,
In the
exactly.
league. Yeah.
Yeah. So even after that, we then lost away to Leicester. Yet again, take nothing away from Leicester. They played absolutely brilliantly. Like any Leicester listeners tuning in today.
The double L's.
Yeah, the LCLs. If don't take anything away from yourselves because they played absolutely fantastically. Leicester did. Then we had a bit of turn up with Leipzig away. Didn't think we were going to win that one, given the form that we were on. So a little glint of hope that we might be able to do something in the Champions League. And then the worst possible result for any Liverpudlian or any fan of the team, apart from United probably, is losing to Everton, which has happened at Goodison quite a few times. But
Yeah.
to lose at Everton at home for the first time in 20 years, and to lose the way we didn't even play well. Everton played pretty good, but we just didn't look like we turned up. I know Gary Neville's come out and said we're looking like a zombie team. I just think they look defeated and exhausted. I don't know what else other way to put it? And I think the best, just doing what City did last season, write it off and then go again.
Yeah, well, this is exactly it, isn't it? It was only a couple of months ago we were talking about City saying that they were out of the race, really.
Well, pretty much, yeah. They'd not had a great season last season. But,
Yeah.
well, in terms of their greatness, they didn't achieve the Premiership last season. But this season it didn't start very well, and then they had the COVID lockdown for 3 weeks. And then they seem to come out all guns blazing now. Conspiracy theorists and Jurgen Klopp amongst them would say that 3 weeks rest probably did them the world of good. But you got to imagine as well, they probably had 1 week off and then the rest they were training anyway. So until they all got negative results. So I don't think they were all sitting around playing FIFA. I think it might have helped, but who knows?
Yeah, well, is it last night they went 16 games in a row they won or something?
Yeah,
From the game last night.
Yeah, I watched a bit of that game actually. It wasn't too bad. And then I switched over to Atalanta versus Real Madrid and
Atalanta,
and that was just the more interesting because you see Real Madrid and you instantly want to watch it. I don't know if that's the same with our listeners and you, but you see like Barcelona and Real Madrid, no matter how bad they're doing, you still want to watch it. You still want to see it.
Yeah, and I think they left it quite late, didn't they?
They did. Yeah. And then yesterday I watched the Atletico versus Chelsea one, and Chelsea did really well, and there was a VR moment. We'll go into that in more detail probably later on, so I digress. But in terms of trying to run away from the fact Liverpool are doing absolutely shockingly, the game's coming up. What do you think's gone wrong as an outsider looking in?
I think when we spoke about this last month, I'd watched them in the 2 games against Man United.
Yeah.
And I thought you'd turned a corner. I know the results didn't particularly, a draw and a loss in the FA Cup against them.
Yeah.
But I thought you absolutely battered them even at Old Trafford. You had, the stats show you had more of the ball, more possession. You created more chances. Mm-hmm. But it just seems in that final third, just lacking that just that bit of creativity in the final third. Now, I didn't necessarily think that you had many problems at the back, but you look at the results of late. Losing 4-1 against City, 3-1 against Leicester, 2-0 against Everton. That's shipping an average of 3 a game, kind of thing.
Right. I think you're right, to be honest, because I think even with Van Dijk and like Gomez and everything, even with them in defence, I think the forwards last season papered over a lot of the cracks because they were so vicious. They would score 1, 2, 3 goals in the first half, and the other team would drop their heads. They wouldn't even bother going on the attack, so it covered over a lot of papered over a lot of the cracks for us, and was a winning formula. And I do not know what's happened with them front three. They're still the same people. They're 6 months, 8 months older, maybe. They still play the same. Like Salah is probably the only one who's firing at the moment. Yeah. He's still getting goals. His goal average is really good still. Mane has just dropped off the face of the earth from being the most deadly striker in the league. He's really gone off. And Firmino, he was never an out and out goal scorer. But would do the dirty work, get back, win the ball, do a brilliant pass to one of the other two. It's not even doing that anymore. So
no. Well, this is the thing, isn't it? I think that defence starts with attack.
Yeah, best form of attack is defence. Other way around, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's very true. That perhaps the forwards aren't supplying that kind of barrier as much anymore. And then obviously you take into account Van Dijk and. Obviously you've got a couple of youngsters playing in, and you've got people playing out of position as well. Yeah, it just exposes the system more and more.
Because we've had 18 changes in defence at the weekend. Or the other day, it was our 18th change in the centre backs. Back. 18 different variations. That's no good for any team.
And I bet kind of last season, you might have had 2 or 3 variations of that kind of back four.
Swapping Gomez for Matip, that's probably it.
Yeah, this is it. Well, you need a kind of a a firm, kind of set of 9-10 players who are playing every week.
Yeah.
But you've kind of got a set of about six this season.
Yeah.
Who are playing every week.
Exactly. And then weird things happen. Like we're really struggling on attack, so we put Millerino on loan, and then he goes and scores 2 for Southampton in 2 games.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you've got to think, what's going on?
Yeah. I think the thing is that the more a situation becomes desperate, the more kind of desperate measures are taken, and that can just widen that gap, in terms of absolute, getting the result you want, or just it being, the complete opposite of what you want kind of thing. So you take more and more risks, but you expose yourself more and more.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's happening, that they're having to kind of almost kind of think on the, what can I do now? What can I change now? So try something completely different that we've not practiced or trained for.
Yeah.
As a kind of a bit of a risk, as something, completely out of the bag. And then it just results in kind of the result just going the complete opposite way to what you want.
Yeah, more of the human element. Like it's definitely like a loss of confidence. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those, in hindsight, you could say, the Klopp in the team and that could just go back to basics.
Yeah.
With the squad they've got, it's a top 4 team, but instead of trying to be that team that's, playing that particular brand of football for 90 minutes, kind of go back to basics and just be a top 4 team.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like you never see, and I am not one to criticise someone who in 5 years has won the Premiership, the Champions League, and the Club World Cup. But why does he never change it up a little bit? Stick in a 4-4-2. Try and do something a little bit differently.
Yeah, well, I mean, this goes back to kind of like Mourinho, doesn't it? Then he's got a very particular brand of football, which he had a lot of success with. In kind of the first 10 years of the decade, kind of winning European Cups, league titles, across the continent, everywhere he went, kind of thing. And that was it, wasn't it? That was his brand of football. Yeah. But he's kind of been found out since then.
Yeah,
and he's had limited success. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the thing now. Can Klopp adapt?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at Guardiola, and he's had a very particular brand of football which he's taken around Europe with him and had success.
Yeah.
That's that thing we spoke about at the beginning of the season. If you're going to carry on playing a particular brand of football, you've got to bring in 3 players who go straight into your 11 who are going to improve that brand of football.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Guardiola. He's at least adapted a little this season. Well, especially in defence, because they've got one of the best defence records in the league, haven't they? So
yeah. Well, that's maybe where he's seen the flaw. That hold on, let's go back to basics a little bit and shore up the defence.
Yeah.
But we've got a top 4 team, a top 2 team who can hopefully do the rest, kind of going forward.
Yeah, exactly. Fair enough.
So I mean, kind of quickly then, where would you predict you're going to finish now?
At the moment, if things continue, probably 7th or 8th.
Yeah.
I think because there's just too many around us. There's just too many different teams all vying for that same position.
Yeah.
That Champions League position. Now we could be in a situation where we could have a really good run at the Champions League, and we'd be dependent upon winning it in order to go in the competition next season.
Yeah.
Which is not a great position to be in.
No.
Considering Paris Saint-Germain are destroying everyone left, right and centre and everything.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, it won't be the biggest collapse of the champions ever, I don't think. Blackburn obviously had a massive one, didn't they?
Leicester
had a bit one, yeah.
But they didn't do nearly as well. Yeah,
no.
So it's a very hard thing to retain a title.
It is, yeah. And let's just very quickly go back to the point that when you finish runners-up to City that season by 1 point, that in any other season that points total would have won you the Premiership.
Yes, exactly.
So in theory, you've been by a mile the champion and probably the second best team in Premiership history.
Yeah.
In 2 seasons.
Yeah.
So you've had 2 or 3 years of success, haven't you, from that team and that philosophy? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I think it's one of them where if we try and get a couple of goals under a belt or a couple of good performances, the floodgates are open, and we could then really push on for a Champions League spot.
Yeah.
But there's got to be a breaking point. There's got to be someone to grab the bull by the horns, and it's very hard for Henderson as the captain to do that because he's covering defence at the moment. So
yeah.
Anyway, how about the mighty Railwaymen? How are they doing?
A bit of a mix, really.
Yeah.
I think after we last spoke with the podcast, I think we got absolutely hammered the game after that. I think it was something about 4-1. Yeah, it was 4-1 at Gillingham. And then a couple of draws, a couple of losses, a couple of wins. We won on Tuesday night 2-0.
Yeah.
So, I'll keep saying it. Mid-table finish, I think, is looking the most likely outcome for us.
About 10th or something, do you reckon?
Something like that, yeah. We're currently 11th. Yeah. What are we? 6 points off the playoffs. Yeah, I think we'll finish mid-table. There's nothing really to write home about. The main thing is that obviously since the last thing we sold our captain, we then the other full-back became captain and we sold him, but he's come back to us on loan for the rest of the season.
Okay.
He didn't come back to us. It was part of the deal. Blackburn signed him but said we could have him for the rest of the season.
Right. How's Billy Jones doing, the new signing?
He's doing quite well, actually. Yeah. The most important one is we signed a guy called Luke Murphy at the start of the season, who was one of our ex kind of academy players.
Yes.
Who had gone to play quite a lot of Championship football. Of late, the last few games, he's really kind of shown his quality at that level. Mm-hmm. A lot of assists and things like that. If we could keep hold of this team, I think we'll lose 2 or 3 at the end of the season to go to Championship football. To be honest,
and then reinvest. Hopefully, you might be able to get some crowds in, maybe.
Yeah, well, the saying is it 4,000 or half capacity, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is pretty ground holds
full.
Well, yeah, it holds 10,000. We normally get about 5, so yeah, we'll be fine. It'll be a normal match day for us. So yeah, I think are they saying they might get fans in? Is it for the last week of fixtures or something?
Yeah.
Or they definitely.
Possibly.
I know the EFL are proposing that they'll be able to do something for the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which they're saying is 5, which will be 4,000 or 5,000 at Crewe, for example, but it'll be half capacity at the other teams, and then they're saying is it 10,000 at Wembley?
Yeah.
So yeah, it'd be nice to start getting some crowds back in, and then obviously once the season starts again in the summer, we should be back at full capacity, shouldn't we? All stadiums, from what they're saying.
Yeah, exactly. I think it would be important for Crewe to get the fans back in terms of the monetary value, wouldn't it? Because they must be losing a lot. Exactly.
Yeah. I think most of the tickets sold are season tickets, so hopefully they've got that money in the coffers. But and like we said before, the selling programs, pies and pints makes a big difference at a small club. It really does. It probably doubles your take-ins for the day.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that's where they'll suffer, is the kind of match day kind of sales, really. But I think our finances are in good order, so hopefully, if clubs do suffer, we won't be the first one, to kind of start drowning with it. I don't think.
Yeah, that's good then.
But we're currently on 43 points. I think we'll finish on about 60, 65, and that'll probably be 5 to 10 points outside the playoff, something like that.
Yeah, hey, for first season back in League One, it's not bad, is it?
Yeah, I'd have taken that at the start of the season. To be in and around the playoffs. As I said, I think we might struggle next season if we lose 3 of our kind of starting 11 players, which I think we will, to the Championship. We'll be going non-league or to the academy to replace them.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And and it takes, as we've seen with this Crewe team, they're mainly academy players. 8 or 9 of them are academy players that have been playing first team football for 3 or 4 years, maybe even longer. Actually, it took them that long to get promoted and then be decent League One players.
It's a good job they invested in that, wasn't it? That was years ago, probably about 20 years ago. They brought a state of the art. Well, they made a state of the art one in Stately, didn't they?
Yeah, and it rivaled kind of most Premiership teams in terms of the training facilities there.
Yeah.
As I said, I think most kind of clubs perhaps have that level now of training facilities.
Yeah.
Apart from Burnley, Burnley's they would. Oh God, their training facilities were terrible, weren't they? Weren't they
Yeah.
using Man Cities or something for some things? I think.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Um,
And yeah, local park.
exactly, yeah. But I mean, they might have invested in something now. But I'm sure a couple of years ago they were having to use a lot of Man City's facilities.
Yeah, I reckon so. Well, it's pretty close, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's down the road, isn't it? But so yeah, mid-table. That's where we'll stay, I think.
Fair enough. Okay. What about the? Let's move on to talk about the Premiership itself. How teams are doing and everything. How we expect they're going to go and what's going to happen. So, should we start at the top, Man City?
Yeah. I mean, it's done and dusted. Do you think?
Pretty much. Look, just if you look at the BBC website and look at the form table, that tells you all win.
Yeah.
They're just doing absolutely brilliantly. Really good, attractive football. 10 points ahead at the moment, away from their closest rivals, Man United.
Yeah, I can't see Man United kind of going unbeaten for the next 10 games or anything like that.
No. I think this is
pressure on.
This is City's in the bag, this one. And they might even get to celebrate with fans once they clinch it and everything.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, even if it's just a case of, being able to do an open top parade kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And they were supposed to do the one for Liverpool once it restricted, but I don't think it'd be... Once someone else has already lifted the Premier League title after,
yeah.
I think it was a bit pointless. I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
I think it'd lose its appeal.
Take the shine off it a bit, yeah.
Yeah, look what we won last year.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Man United are below them.
Yeah.
Draw, win, draw, win. So, yeah, they tailed off a little bit on that one, but at least they're not losing.
Yeah, exactly. I think they're going to score goals.
Yeah.
I think they're probably the top goal scorers in the league, just having a look at it.
Yeah.
It's obviously, defence is hit them.
Yeah, pretty much. The joint second at the moment with Leicester. So I imagine United will stay in the top four. They're currently 5 points away from 6 points away from the drop out of that. So I think they're quite safe within that Champions League spot.
I think so. I mean, I think United and
Leicester.
Exactly, yeah. I think Leicester will stay there, and then it's kind of a battle between maybe 4 or 5 teams for that fourth spot, isn't it?
Exactly. So we have West Ham, Chelsea, Liverpool, and Everton. Possibly Aston Villa, because they're only 4 points behind Everton.
Yeah.
All up for grabs. As well as Tottenham as well. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. About 6 teams, and then 7 including West Ham, all up for the fourth spot, and it's not too much of a stretch for them to achieve it.
No, I mean, you kind of, if you put your money on it now, I'd probably say that Chelsea would be favourites.
Yeah.
Based on their current run, and also, the new manager, injecting a bit of new life into those players.
Exactly.
You'd perhaps expect Chelsea to carry on this run of form.
Yeah, because their form, bar City, is the best in the league at the moment, because they've got 4 wins and a draw.
Yeah, which has obviously been this reaction to the new manager, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always the same, isn't it? They always get a bit of a knee-jerk reaction when you get a new manager in and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to look at ours, it just makes me feel sick. 1 loss. It's just terrible.
It's got to be the worst form in the league, isn't it?
I think
Apart from
we're
Sheffield United.
supplanted by Southampton. We're level with Sheffield United, who are rock bottom. And then the worst one, Southampton, loss, draw, loss.
So you're probably bottom 3 on form guide on the last 5 games, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of which, what do you think about the bottom 3?
I've just noticed you've hit the magic 40 points, so you're staying up.
Oh yes, fantastic. That's one every cloud, eh?
yeah. At least we're not going down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, I think we called it, didn't we? Was it last month or the month before?
Yeah, the month before. Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of started to think that Fulham might drag themselves out of it.
Yep.
And then they're unbeaten in 4, aren't they now?
Yeah. So they've got draw, win.
Yeah, because we said Sheffield United are obviously, they're gone. West Brom are not that far behind. They could easily kind of swap positions with Sheffield United in the next couple of games and be bottom themselves. But there was kind of 4 or 5 teams that we were looking at for that 18th spot. And Fulham have yet a clawing their way into the kind of battle to stay up now.
Yeah, and as predicted, Newcastle are slipping.
They're slipping, yeah.
One loss.
Yeah.
So they're dangerously close to that relegation drop because that bloody Mike Ashley.
Yeah, and they're not too in awe of Steve Bruce either, really.
No, he's got a massive head, hasn't he?
Yeah, and I've just noticed the last game of the season for Fulham.
Go on.
Home to Newcastle.
Ooh, oh please stay around these lines. That would be an absolute cracker.
Is
I
it?
haven't had one of them in years.
Oh god, that'll be a fantastic game. So imagine it was the last game of the season now, 3 points in it, and only 6 in it on the goal difference.
Yeah.
You know, it's all to play for, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. Probably the last one might have been Sheffield United West Ham, wouldn't it have been?
Sheffield United Wigan.
Yes, that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
One stays
15
up, one goes
years
down.
ago. That was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there can't be many of those, can there?
No, there's not. I always remember there was one with Everton years ago, and I'm talking like 20 years ago maybe or something.
Oh god, that was with that Mike Smith, was it, as manager?
Yeah, that was it. They were just the last game of the season. They just stayed up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what about where you currently reside, Sheffield? What about their Sheffield United?
Yeah, well, I think Chris Wilder after the game the other night where who did they lose to? They lost the other night, didn't they? 1-0 to someone. I can't remember who it was now. It was Fulham.
Yeah.
He said in the interview, "Don't worry, we won't be here for much longer." So,
Fuck me. I mean, excuse my friend. If your manager's saying that, it's not pulling your.
Yeah. Well, it was to do with the VAR decision, which obviously we're going to speak about very shortly. But yeah, he was alluding to the fact the Premier League didn't want him to stay up with the VAR decision. So yeah, he said, "Don't worry, we won't be here much longer."
God, right, okay. But Sheffield United. 8 o'clock on Sunday have got Liverpool, so you never know.
Yes, it's the battle of the bottom 3, isn't it? On form
exactly.
kind of thing. Yeah,
it's the battle of the forms. Yeah.
Well, if they're going to stay up, Liverpool's the team you want to be playing now.
Yeah.
In fact, the three teams you want to play are Liverpool, Southampton, or Sheffield United.
Pretty much, yeah.
So Sheffield United play Liverpool. I'd say Sheffield United have got more to play for than Liverpool.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, because
Liverpool's
pretty much going to give up now.
Yeah, I mean, what is the 13 games to go? At 3 points a game, 39. That'd take them to 50 points. Yeah, Sheffield United are only about 3 games away from being relegated. Really.
Yeah, literally.
If they lose 3 in a row, that is probably pretty close to mathematically being goodbye.
Yeah. And West Brom in the similar boat and everything. So yeah,
exactly,
it's pretty much going to be a must-win, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And as I said, I think Sheffield United will stick with Wilder, and I think he'll want to stay. I think.
Yeah.
Unless he's thinking, take a year out and then come back into management. I don't know.
Manage Celtic.
Well, they'll probably pay him double the money, and it's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he'll stick with him, and then they'll probably give him 10 games into the Championship season.
Fair enough.
And they'd want to be top 2.
Yeah, that'll be cool. It's all to play for. There's a lot of exciting things to come.
Loads to play for, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Should we take an advert break?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Coming soon to gender-neutral entertainment. Bond, this is your toughest and most dangerous mission yet. With civilization on the brink of World War III, can the world's most notorious secret agent save humanity? This lean, mean, licensed-to-kill fighting machine, like you've never seen her before. 007 is Jane Bond.
What the bloody hell's gone on here? There's claret everywhere. I think you done it.
This remake of a British classic is sure to be 2020's greatest detective film.
Oh no, he's brown bread. What do you mean? He's done him up like a kipper.
It's the must-watch film of 2020. It is, of course, Mr. Marple. Coming soon to a cinema near you. The world's most successful drama on the small screen finally makes it to the big screen. Secrecy, obsession, lust, and maybe love come together in this whirlwind of a drama. With a new cast and a new lead character, we bring you Killing Steve. Coming to the big screen in spring 2021.
Do you like ghosts? Do you like toast? Then have no fear. Buy Ghost and Toast Weekly from your newsagent next week.
Hello, welcome back to Talk of the Terraces.
Hello.
How are you doing?
All right, part 2, isn't it?
I apologise to any listeners if I sounded too down when I was talking about my football club. It's very hard for me to come to terms with at the moment. I'm not used to it.
Yeah, it's starting to take its toll now, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, exactly.
On the psyche, yeah. We should probably get rid of football for next month's episode.
Yeah.
Talk about lockdown instead, because that's a lot more cheery, isn't it?
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, because that's the thing. We've got lockdown, having to not leaving the house, and our only portal of happiness is that screen in the corner of the room that shows football.
Yeah.
And then that happens to you. There's just no escape.
There's nothing left. Yeah, the only thing that's left in life is like winning the lottery, I think.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I bet a lot of people are playing lottery. I know I've had a few more lucky dips recently.
Yeah, the Euro Millions is creeping up, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 180 million.
I think I could retire.
Would you buy the Alex if you won 180 million?
Yeah.
You would?
Yeah. I reckon you could buy them for about 5 million.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
What, all the infrastructure and everything like that?
I think so, yeah. I reckon, yeah.
Bargain.
You probably have to wipe off the debt. It might be a couple of million debt. But yeah, even if it was just becoming a director.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to get into that
Majority.
thing of... Yeah, I wouldn't want to get into
share.
that thing of pumping money in.
Oh, no, not to keep them afloat and stuff.
You'd lose your money.
Yeah, you would have as your manager.
I'd keep it how it is.
Would you?
Yeah, just give him a few more million and see if we get in the championship, yeah.
I thought you might bring Neil Lennon back to crew, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, not on his recent form, no.
Yeah,
No.
fair enough. That's a big sign. So in this segment of the show, we're going to look into... It's something we haven't really talked over much because it's so diversive. And it's something that I was for and then wanted to give it a chance. It's VAR, and it's still it splits football fans down the middle completely because it's in my own eye. Like I think VAR is a good thing because you're able to get more clarity on decisions, but I think it's got a fatal flaw, and that's humans.
Of course, yeah, because there's still an element of human interaction with it, isn't there?
Exactly. I think the technology itself is fine, but especially on recent performance and recent decisions and stuff, it's like referees are actually bucking against it and seeing it as something is undermining their authority.
Yeah.
I mean, the reason I say it's like the other day, the penalty for Everton against Liverpool, he was told by VAR, he blew for a penalty, he was told by VAR that it's going to be checked. VAR checked it and said they couldn't come up with a decision. He ran over to the screen to look at it because they can't come up with a decision, that's what they're supposed to do, glanced at the screen and ran back and called it as a penalty.
Yeah.
So he decided to completely ignore technology, and rather than watch it through again or watch it from a couple of different angles, he just went with his original decision.
I think so. VAR said, "Hold on a minute, we're going to check this penalty that you've given."
Yeah.
And then they're going, "Oh, hold on, we don't know if it is."
Yeah. So it's straight away he blew and pointed to the spot. VAR whispered in his ear probably and said, "Hold on, we need to check this." So they checked it, and they've checked it from different angles, loads of different angles, and they said that they can't make a clear decision on it.
Yeah.
It's not for definite either way. Go and look at it and see what you think, or overturn it. He ran up to the screen, just like pretty much ran past it, glanced at it, and then ran back and pointed back to the spot again.
Yeah, I suppose the thing is that if they're saying we need to check it, and then they're going, well, we can't make a decision on it, that's the end of the process, isn't it? He's given it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Just go back to his original on the field decision, you know, rather than him running over to the screen, looking at it for, you know, half a second and saying, no, I'll stick with my decision.
Yeah, but the fact of the matter is, if they can't make a decision on it, then surely it's probably not a penalty. If it's not clear.
Yeah, well, I think the ruling is, isn't it? The bottom line is that the decision lies with the on-field referee. You know, the on the pitch referee. So he
final say.
He gets the final say. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, so VAR could come back and go, oh, hold on, we're not sure about this, and he can go, no, I'm sticking with my decision, or no, actually, yeah, I want to change my decision.
Yeah.
Like you said, I think in principle it is right because it's there to get rid of the howlers, isn't it?
Yes.
You know, to get rid of the person who's punched someone off the ball.
Yeah.
You know, and the referee didn't see it, and you know, or things that are blatantly offside, or things are they a penalty or are they actually a free kick?
Like goal line technology, that kind of thing.
It's this is my kind of thinking of it, and I heard Gary Neville talking about it a couple of weeks ago with Jamie Carragher, and I agree with him 100%. I don't think that VAR is essentially the problem. I think it's the rules, the laws of the game that have to be kind of, you know, the technology and these rules don't, you know, aren't a good a good match.
Yeah.
You know, in particular around the handball rule in offside.
Yeah, there's too many different aspects of it. Isn't
Oh,
there?
of course there is. I did, you know, armpit.
Yeah.
Armpit, you know, for offside and armpit for handball.
Yeah.
Armpit?
Yeah.
What do you mean armpit? You know, that's the difference between a handball and not a handball. Oh, it's just above his armpit.
Yeah. Well, I think they should just go off. There's so many different variations. I think they should just go off, where's the foot? Because that's the only thing that can do anything about it, apart from the head. It's like, where's the foot? Is the foot offside? Because that's the only bit that can do the kicking.
Exactly.
You can't dribbling it in with your hand.
No.
Or in your head, because you'd get it taken off you.
Yeah. Well, this is, as Gary Neville said, that offside, it's any part of your body apart from your arm, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, above your armpit. Or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know, why is it all these connotations? Your body, like you say, just make it your foot.
Yeah.
Your
foot. Yeah.
The foot furthest forward.
Yeah.
You know, that's where you draw the line.
Can do anything about it. Can smack the ball or run onto it or anything like that. That's the only one that can do anything about it. And then they've got rules in for offside. If someone attempted to play it, and there's different variations of if someone's attempted to play it or not, if they leant forward, if they moved forward. It's just ridiculous.
Well, this is it, isn't it, Dale? That's when it comes down to the referee's interpretation of the rules and how they're feeling about how that game or how that move was played out and whether they think that person was interfering with play.
Yeah.
You know, and then you might get a difference of opinion between the VAR person sat wherever it is and the referee on the pitch, you know, about who's interfering with play. The thing with offside as well is that, and I think this refers back to a goal Leicester scored against you from a free kick, was it?
Yeah.
Where the freeze frame that they used to decide that the Leicester players weren't offside, there was a gap between the Leicester player's foot and the ball. So he hadn't kicked the ball yet.
Yeah.
Now they rolled it on a frame and the ball had started moving, and the Leicester players were offside.
Yeah.
So in between that two, it isn't conclusive of whether they were onside or offside.
Yeah.
So for that example, the technology isn't there.
Yeah, exactly. So you'd probably need something with better frame rates or something.
Exactly. Yeah.
Higher frame rates. Or
yeah.
like slow mo.
Yeah. Well, this is it. Do they have a margin of error?
Yeah.
You know. But the thing is, like they said, right, well, the Leicester players are onside. Well, the guy's not kicked the ball yet.
Yeah.
You know, he hasn't kicked the ball. But I think it goes back to the point. I think the laws of the game make it more difficult than it needs to be. Yeah. You know, with the offside, like you say, either needs to be the foot, but then they start going, where does the foot end? Oh, is it your ankle? Is it your heel? Is it your toes?
Yeah.
You know, is it the laces on your boots?
Is your willy offside?
This is it. It starts getting mad, you know. The only other option is like Gary Neville said, make it go back to daylight. Is the daylight between the players? It was only a few years ago where someone could be 99% of their body could be ahead, but their bums keeping them on side, an inch of their arse.
Yeah.
I think the rules make it difficult for both handball and offside, which are the two major kind of sticking points of VAR.
Yeah. It'd certainly make it a bit more free-flowing and faster game if it was daylight, wouldn't it?
It would, yeah. Gary Neville made the point as well that all sports are pushed to the limits, absolutely pushed to the limits where you are at breaking point. We're talking millimetres, for absolute perfection. You're pushing yourself so far that players can last 90 minutes, but after 90 minutes they're all going to start getting injured because they're fatigued. Do you know what I mean? It's that minute detail. In all sport exists, whether it's the 100 metres, F1, horse racing, you're talking millimetres between success and failure. And this is no different for offside or handball or, if it's a millimetre over the line, it's a goal. If it's a millimetre over touching the line, it's not a goal.
Yeah, that's exactly it, mate. It's like horse racing, isn't it? They're bred and trained that to the absolute limits of their ability, aren't they?
Yeah.
And you see these horses walking around the paddock on the Grand National or something, and they look like they're on steads. Like their brains are popping out of the legs and everything because they're so well trained.
Yeah, well, this is the thing, isn't it? As well, like F1. The cars are built that if they go a lap longer, they fall apart almost.
Yeah, run out of fuel.
Yeah, exactly. It's all done on the extremes. So whether there's VAR or not VAR, there's always the pundits are always going to look back and say, "Oh, he was offside by a millimetre." Mm-hmm. He was onside. I hate that when the commentators say, "Oh, he was just onside."
Yeah,
well, he was onside.
Just onside. Yeah, he's still onside.
Still onside. Doesn't matter if he's just onside.
Yeah.
It matters if he's just offside.
Yeah, it's like saying, "Oh, he's just alive." He's still alive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I hate it when they say, "Oh, he's just onside." Oh, it was just over the line. It was over the line. It was a goal. Shut up.
Yeah, Robbie Savage is guilty of that.
Oh yeah, well I know the old Mike. Yeah, and Mike Owen used to be. Oh, if he fouled him, it'd have been a free kick.
Scored that header with his head.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If he put his head to the ball, he just scored a header. Yeah, of course he would.
It did make me laugh though against City. Carragher's commentary when Alisson messed up.
Oh, the John Legend song.
Yeah, it's been overdubbed so long. Oh.
But kind of talking on the pundits, coaches, managers, fans, whoever it is involved in football have been crying out for VAR for 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
When the
got it in tennis, why can't they have it?
Yeah, got it in cricket, got it in rugby, and that was all because these people we had the technology to look at replays, and go, that was offside, that was onside, that was handball, that shouldn't have been a goal, that should have been a goal. And we're all saying that referees are crap and and we've got video technology, so why can't we use it in games, to get rid of these howlers? And those very same people are now saying get rid of it.
Yeah. And
I think people have got to see that it's the rules that are not allowing VAR to kind of to be to its full potential.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like I said, it's like the human element. It's like putting a load. The technology itself, it works apart from the point you brought up about the frame rate and everything.
Yeah,
it's just the human. It's just like too many bloody rules on it. Like if you just have a set number of standards, your foot's offside. If you, it doesn't matter if you're going towards the ball or not. It's offside or just a set of rules. Just stick to it.
Yeah. Well,
and then you bring it in Europe as well. Their rules on VAR and everything. It's like, oh god.
Yeah. Well, I'm guessing, and I might be wrong, and I'm quite happy to kind of admit I'm wrong. But I'm guessing for like rugby, cricket, tennis, all these sports, there are a lot less kind of margin for error.
Yeah.
Was it on the line? Was it over the line? That's what rugby, the referee's checking there, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, exactly.
And then the odd bad tackle or or anything like that in rugby, which is, we could check that in with VAR, something off the ball, or actually that was a terrible tackle. I mean, also as well, and it goes back to something that wasn't reviewed on VAR, which was the Fulham Sheffield United game. And in the last minute, the Sheffield United player the ball kind of bounced in the box. He went to run towards the ball, and it was in the 6-yard box. The keeper coming out at the same time. Now, the keeper took the ball first, but then absolutely ploughed through the Sheffield United player. Proper kicked him up in the air. Yeah. Now, first of all, if that was in the middle of the park, that would have been a free kick. But the goalkeeper gets that extra kind of protection. A goalkeeper go to jump up, catch a ball. The opposition player looks at him in a certain way, and it's a free kick. That goalkeepers get this protection. But why that wasn't reviewed on? It wasn't even reviewed on VAR. Was it even?
And that's another thing. Like, it's that indecision again. It's like if someone commits a foul, such as that in the penalty box, it's an instant yellow card. But if you commit it outside the penalty box, then it's usually let go. It's like, where does the line get drawn and everything?
And this is referees not being consistent.
Yeah. One of my major gripes about VAR is not actually all the decisions going against Liverpool, which is personally not but also the fact how long it takes, and it absolutely kills the game.
Yeah, well, this is it. Yeah,
it doesn't take that long with other sports and everything, but it's this 3, 4, 5 minutes of players just moseying around like cows in a field, just waiting for someone to make a decision.
While they're drawing a line, trying to find where offside is.
Exactly. I just don't get why they can't have like some kind of virtual grid of the pitch, and you can see exactly where they are and whether they're offside or anything.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, isn't it? I think that's probably a teething problem, isn't it? That should hopefully get better over the next couple of years.
Something that can be ironed out, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think the higher frame rate, so you can precisely kind of say that's when the ball was kicked. The thing is, if you're going to introduce this technology to see if someone was onside or offside by a few millimetres, then you've got to expect these decisions where they go, oh no, he was onside or offside by a few millimetres. Because football's played, because all professional top level sport is played on the edges, you are going to get these decisions that are millimetres.
Yeah.
Regardless of VAR or not.
Yeah, I don't gamble that much, only bet on the national and the odd accumulator, but imagine if you were one result away from like thousands of pounds and a VAR decision didn't go your way, you will be fuming.
Well, you would, yeah, and you kind of think if there wasn't VAR, I'd have won the money.
Yeah, exactly.
I suppose the thing for me is, and I don't think people think along this way, is that I like black and white. I like the facts. So when VAR says that person was offside by 2 millimetres, therefore it's not a goal, I kind of go, well, that was the right decision. They were offside,
Yeah, not nearly offside.
They were offside by 3 millimetres. That is offside. If the rules want to say, it can be within 100 millimetres, then fine, but that's not the rules. The rules are that any part of your body apart from your arm, basically. So, but I don't like it when they're saying that this Leicester goal the other day was the frame they used. They'd not even kicked the ball.
Yeah.
So how can you judge that to judge if someone was onside or offside?
Yeah, because it's the moment the ball is played, isn't it?
It's the moment the ball is played, and that exact moment was somewhere between the two frames that they didn't have. I think it will improve dramatically if they look at the rules.
Yeah, I don't think it's going anywhere. I don't think they're going to cancel it or rip it out or anything like that. I think it's here to stay. Yeah. But there is a lot of room for improvement, not just with the technology itself, but I think with the way it's handled and interpreted, I suppose. Yeah, well,
this is the thing about the handball, is that there is an element of what's deliberate and what's accidental. Now, they're saying that accidental in certain scenarios, you carry on playing, it's accidental, and it hasn't led to a goal. So what they're saying is that if an attacking team accidentally handballs, and then the defending team clear, we play on, right? But there's no definition, and it's kind of completely up to the referee's discretion about how long has to be played before the other team, that team could then come back and score,
Yeah,
and
precisely.
and that accidental handball doesn't become part of that play.
Yeah.
For example, the striker accidentally handballs it, and then they playing it around across the edge of the box for 10 seconds and then score.
Mm-hmm.
Is that still? Does that then become active handball?
Well, Firmino had one recently where it looked like he controlled it with his hand, but it's just like the ball rolled down his chest and touched his hand, but VAR ruled it out.
So that was accidental, but then they've said
Yeah,
that handball led to the goal or whatever.
It's a handball, yeah.
What kind of time period was it between the handball and scoring?
Literally probably 15 seconds, I'd say.
So they're saying 15 seconds.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing during those 15 seconds, Liverpool still had the ball and were trying to score.
Yeah.
Right. So what happens if Firmino had handballed it and it had dropped to the defender and he'd booted it into Liverpool's half and Liverpool had booted it straight back and scored within a couple of seconds?
Yeah, that's up to interpretation, isn't it?
Do they say, well, hold on a minute, the defender cleared the ball, so that was the end of that passage of play?
That's it. It's this whole thing about passage of play, of new play.
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
Yeah.
You're still playing, unless the ball goes out for a throw, and you're still playing the same.
Exactly.
It's not tennis. You're not
No.
playing a set or anything like
No,
that.
no. And this comes back to the point with handball, is
Yeah.
to make it easier, it should just be all handball is handball.
Yeah.
Make it black and white. And forget this armpit thing, because that's open to too much interpretation. Like, where's his armpit? Oh, I can't tell because he's wearing a long sleeve shirt. Do you not? Make it the elbow, something that's a bit more distinguishable. With elbow and below, and it's
What if you've
just
got armpit
handball.
hair?
Well, what happens if you're wearing a long sleeve shirt and it's saying it's your elbow?
Yeah.
Make it your hand, or where's the wrist? Kind of thing. But
Yeah. Is he wearing a watch?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's got big hands, so it's unfair. He's got big hands, so there's more likely chance of him handballing it.
Yeah, it's madness, isn't it?
Yeah,
This is a multi-billion-pound industry.
It is, isn't it? They could make the handball thing instantly easier by just saying all handball is handball.
Yeah.
Forget accidental, forget deliberate, forget where it was on the pitch. If it hits your hand, it's handball.
Yeah.
Done. Isn't it? The problem,
Job
90% of the problem solved overnight. And if other teams then want to start kicking the ball against opposition players' hands on purpose because they know they'll get free kicks and penalties, then so be it.
Yeah.
It's the same rule for everyone, but it makes deciding those rules a lot easier.
If they need to add pockets back to football shorts and they need to run around with the hands in the pockets,
Yeah.
then that might have to be it.
Well, did you remember, this is probably going back 20 years, when Allardyce was in charge of Bolton, and I can't remember if it's because his team were getting penalties against him for handball or for fouls in the box. For holding on to players in the box. You stopped him from jumping for a header, it's a free kick or a penalty. He made all these players put their hands behind the backs
Yes.
when they were defending free kicks, so the referee couldn't say you pulled him back or you stopped him from going up for that header.
Mm-hmm.
So if you just make it handball is handball,
Yeah.
then if players want to start kicking the ball against people's hands,
Yeah.
then put them behind your back, then it won't be handball.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
This is it. I think you should make the rules a lot easier, and 90% of these VAR problems would go overnight.
Yeah.
And you'd still have the problem there, that we haven't got the right frame at the minute, or it took 5 minutes to make that decision.
Yeah.
But that'll improve with technology, I think, over the next couple of years.
Still open to interpretation, isn't it?
And at the end of the day, it's still some guy sat in front of a computer,
Yeah.
saying,
it's that human element.
drawing in a line for offside, which might not be 100% accurate. Yeah.
Yeah. Until R2D2 can do it for us, then we're going to have that element.
Yeah. and in the meantime, they should stop 90% of the complaints and just make the rules easier.
Yeah.
This goes back to, I remember Shane Warne saying that when he was
Warney.
playing Warney and getting, the 700 test wickets or whatever it was, he said had Hawkeye or whatever it was been in place for all of his career, he'd have got half the test wickets.
Yeah.
Because half of his wickets were not out, but because he screamed at the umpire and the umpires were scared of him in the Aussies, they give it out. But in the record books, he'll be going down as taking 700 test wickets, where in reality, it's probably only about 400.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Yeah.
So technology is there to make decisions better.
Just to improve it. It's supposed to make it, not hinder it, isn't it?
Yeah, and Gary Neville was saying about when the back pass rule was changed. You know, where defenders used to kick the ball back to the keeper and the keeper could pick it up. You know, 30, 40 years ago, or whatever it was. He said there was, uproar about it. You know, and people making mistakes because they forgot the rules had changed and all that kind of stuff. I think this might be a similar thing. You know, it's just got teething problems.
I think so. I think it will iron itself out. It will. I mean, I don't know what it was like when they first introduced offside, but I imagine it caused bloody hell up.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, I imagine it would. Yeah, well, there's that thing where Neville and Carragher are with the referees trying to do offsides.
Yeah.
It's impossible to get them all right.
Yeah.
And VAR is there to get rid of the howlers, isn't it? First and foremost, but they need to make these rules a lot easier.
Yeah. So the closing argument is a bit more clarity, please. We don't mind it. It's a work in progress, but a bit more clarity on the rules.
But yeah, absolutely. Make the rules a lot clearer, a lot simpler.
That's the talk of the Terraces, advice to the FA.
Yeah, we are available at the standard consultant rates.
As long as you provide coffee and bourbon biscuits, we'll be fine.
Absolutely, That's the rate, yeah.
Chocolate hobnobs.
Yes.
After hours.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, shall we have another advert, mate?
Let's do another set.
Cool.
Coming soon from the makers of Britain's greatest pencil sharpener comes a brand new documentary, In Off the Bard, where we ask Premiership personalities to take on the works of the great man Shakespeare. Such personalities as Jose Mourinho, playing Hamlet. To be or not to be? That is the question. Whether I can come outside the technical area? That is another question. So therefore today I answer no more questions. And also Wayne Rooney with Romeo and Juliet. I'm the East, and Colleen is the sun. Join us, 5 o'clock, Channel 5, Thursday night.
Do you like dogs? Do you like clogs? Then sit down and give me your paw. Dogs in Clogs, out next week.
Welcome back. You're talking to Terraces with Brendan Rodgers, the team, the players, the fans. So we're going to move on to the lighter moments. We've de-stressed about Liverpool and Crew's recent form. We've tackled VAR. That's fixed.
Oh yeah, a lot off the chest after that.
We're told the FA to sort it out. That's fine. Like James says, consultant rates. Knobs,
do
everything.
apply. Yeah,
please. So I think it's only right. In this section, on our final section, what we usually do is come up with some. Well, we don't. We never exaggerate. We never make up stuff. We find some weird stories, and also we talk about classic albums because we're not one-trick ponies, are we, James? We're cultural. We like
cultured,
music and German beers and stouts and things like that, don't we? So.
Yeah, we're cultured. We like football, music, and beer. Yeah. And weird stories. And weird stories, yeah.
And weird stories, yeah.
Yeah. I tell you what, we're cultured the most, mate.
Well, exactly, yeah. We like misfortune at other people's expense.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
That's not to be cruel, though.
No.
I've let you down a bit this week, mate. I could only find one decent weird news story.
Been a bit of a quiet few weeks, has it?
It has, and I think like I mentioned, I think it's due to lockdown. A lot of people are making their arse of themselves indoors, and it's not getting out there. These weird stories aren't coming to the forefront.
Well, it's either weird stories are happening within the four walls of people's houses, or they know that we're listening and we're reporting on this. We're onto them. Maybe people are taking extra care in their day-to-day lives.
Maybe they're toning down their weirdness.
Yeah, they've been exposed.
Yeah, they don't want to be name and shame. It's like rogue traders on Watchdog.
It is, exactly, yeah. They've stopped trading in weird activities. You know, the man who was called Celine Dion.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, that was a classic.
He's changed his name. He's reverted back to his other name, yeah.
Right.
Maybe it's that.
And with our weird stories, we always try and come up with a pun. We're most of the time not very successful at this. At all. I was on fire last time, and I think that was a bit of a one-hit wonder because there must have been something in the water that day or something. I don't know.
You were on fire.
Yeah, exactly.
You're still smouldering now.
So the press is on for for James. I've only got one weird news story.
Oh God,
So
go on.
the pressure's on. You might be able to get a good pun out of this one.
Yeah.
It's usually a bit of a toss-up, really, between whether we read out the story all the way or just hit you with the headline. But I think this one's best just for the headline. Okay.
Go on.
Alaskan woman attacked by a bear while using the outside toilet.
God. Oh God. Right, go on.
Okay, so in Anchorage, Alaska, a woman had the scare of a lifetime when using the outhouse in this backcountry. She was attacked from a bear.
I was going to say that was my pun. Was it a bear behind?
Yep, she was attacked by a bear while on the toilet. Now, that must be horrifying, having your knickers around your ankles, sitting there doing your call of nature, and then a bear. But what's the worst is, even worse than being attacked by a bear, she was attacked from below.
Oh, right. God,
So
right.
the
Where was
bear
it? In the
got
toilet?
Yeah, it was. So it got into the plumbing somehow, or one of these rural outdoor plumbings where, these eco ones where you crap into a load of leaves and stuff.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So she said, I got there and sat down on the toilet. Immediately, something bit my butt right as I sat down. Sharon Stevens told the Associated Press, I jumped up and screamed when it happened. Her brother Eric and girlfriend had taken snowmobiles to the wilderness to stay as a yacht located about 20 miles north of Alaska. So they are in the middle of nowhere, to be fair.
Yeah, I imagine it took them a few minutes to get their bearings.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I opened the toilet seat.
You didn't hear that one? That was another good one.
Hey! Get the bearings. That's brilliant. Well done, mate. I didn't even catch that one. Oh, that was so subtle.
Yeah,
It's like an eel.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah.
She said, I opened the toilet seat and there's just a bear's face just looking at me.
Oh
Toilet
God!
seat,
How
through the hole.
How embarrassing!
Oh! Oh God. I like it. It's a call of nature, so it's one of life's bare necessities.
Oh yeah.
Oh dear, let's claw me way back now. It was. She said a bum. It was bleeding, but it wasn't super bad.
It wasn't super bad.
That's very Canadian or American. I'm trying to read on to see what happened. Oh, the Alaskan Department of Fish and Game Wildlife Management, Carl
Oh God.
Cock
Carl Cock.
suspects it was a black bear based upon the photos and the tracks it saw. So basically, he's been eating poo to find out what it was. It doesn't say what happened to the bear, but hopefully he's all right, and he's probably just got a bit of a weird taste in his mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's my weird story of the meat of the week.
Yeah.
I think I was going to ask you about puns, but I think you've just completely blown it out of the water.
Yeah. I've got one more.
Go on.
In this toilet, I wonder if there was any toilet roll or whether she had to use her bare hands.
Or if she used the hands, it'd be a bit raw.
Yeah. Oh yeah. yeah. It's a good one. Yeah.
Bear with us, listeners, will you?
Yeah, I'm trying to think if we'll get any others in the locker. I'm trying to think of things that. Oh, I've got one more.
Claw one from somewhere.
Yeah, I've clawed one from somewhere, quite literally. Yeah, I'm not sure this story's plausible.
Mate, you're on fire.
I think
fire extinguisher out.
I think bear is my
Is your forte?
is my pun topic. Yeah.
It's it's your zone, that is, mate.
I think we do use the word bear in quite a lot of things, don't we?
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Especially in crew, like, I've got bear weed.
Oh, I've got bear weed, yeah.
It's just a typical crew saying that.
Yeah. Apologies for anyone who's for 99.9% of the population.
Yeah. And if any police listen, I haven't got bear weed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's just something we've heard, not used. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, so that's my weird story of the week, mate.
Yeah.
Do you like it?
I love it. It's brilliant.
Good.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, brilliant story. Yeah.
Brilliant. So, to close off the show, what we'll do is we'll move on to our album of the month. Last month it was Nevermind by Nirvana. For me, a relatively new album, given my past record. So this week we're going to go to James. And what's your album of the month, mate?
Yeah, well, you'll have to bear with me because I haven't yet decided it's between two. No, I've finally made a decision.
Go on.
My classic album's a bit more recent. It's probably start of the noughties, probably it's 2004, 2005, something like that.
Okay.
Now this album, and Tom will know this. I am more about melody than lyrics. Lyrics, you know what I mean? I like a good melody. Forget what the lyrics are. I like a good melody, something I can sing along to.
You're much more a Johnny Marr fan than a Morrissey fan.
Exactly. I'm on Johnny. I play for Johnny Marr's team rather than Morrissey's team. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So this is probably though one of the only few albums that has influenced me lyrically and perhaps made me into the person I am today. And it's probably going to sound really... And now you're expecting like a big album now, aren't you? And go, God, yeah. Well, it's not a particularly big album. It'll probably... People will laugh.
I'm thinking around 2005. I'm trying to think like Kaiser Chief Editors.
Well,
What would it be?
Well, it is. It's Over the Counter Culture by the Ordinary Boys.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, that is controversial.
Yeah. Now, it's, obviously kind of Preston, people remember from Big Brother and all that kind of stuff. Obviously he lost every inch of credibility that he had when he did that.
He did, I'm afraid. Yeah.
He did, yeah. In the whole kind of never mind the Buzzcocks thing and walking out and all that kind of thing, But the album itself, I think that made me who I am still today in terms of lyrically, in terms of that was an album about the birth of culture in terms of newspaper culture. These people celebrity culture, through no particular talent.
Yeah.
All your celebrities in the 90s were pop stars, rock stars, film stars, Britpop era, but they were people who were talented. Yeah. Musicians, actors, all that kind of stuff. Whereas this was the birth of people becoming famous for being a little bit quirky on Big Brother, or and being a right laugh.
It was the famous for 15 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
George Orwell said that.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And the whole album, the lyrics just talk about. Well, it's called Over the Counter Culture. Yeah. And that is exactly it. People buying their culture through glossy magazines, is one of the lyrics in there.
Yeah. Too much small talk leaves you with small mind.
That used to that is probably the most resonating line for me. Is too much small talk leads to a small mind. I as a person, that made me kind of think, oh yeah, that's who I am. I don't get involved in tittle tattle in small talk. And
sweating the small stuff.
Yeah, and gossiping about crap and being someone's mate because they like going to this bar, or because they like reading this newspaper, or because they like doing something rubbish. I want to get into with people who are kind of into something a bit more.
Yes.
Want to talk about stuff that matters. And we sit here talking about football and music and silly puns. But the stuff that matters in life.
Can get a bit grisly sometimes.
Yeah, we're still there. We're not letting that one go yet. But yeah, the whole lyrics there are about the attack of this over-the-counter culture and how it devalues. I suppose it devalues culture, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it's a really good choice, that one. It's an interesting choice because you have to take it on face value. The album, when it came out at that time, was it absolute for me, you, and our mates and everything. It was a bit of a breath of fresh air, wasn't it?
Yes.
Because someone was saying, we were always saying, "Oh, I'm sick of this bloody Big Brother and all that kind of stuff." Or
Yeah.
Hello Magazine, and then everyone wants to be famous and everything. And it was kind of a breath of fresh air for someone coming out with the music and saying, like, "Listen, this is crap," and holding a mirror up to it. You have to, so the album itself is brilliant, isn't it? But
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
terms of what happened after, him going completely against that and doing exactly what he preached about.
This is the thing that you felt so cheated by it.
Yeah.
That I finally found someone who was kind of writing lyrics. I thought I can get on board with that. That's exactly the things that I hate about society, and I hate about the way the, culture is going. And then he joined the crowd, didn't he?
Yeah.
They dangled
He
the
did
dollars in front of him.
Yeah, and he bit. I mean, at the time, remember, he had did he have a French girlfriend, kind of?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Artsy kind of girlfriend, and he went into Big Brother with her still being his girlfriend, cheated on her, and then started coming out with crap like that song "I Love You," you know that, don't you?
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
bunny
Exactly.
rabbits in the background.
Yeah. Yeah, he talks about kind of music as well, like music's become beige, radio played Depresses Me Today. Why is it so throwaway? Media press has become an utter mess. It's the opinions of failed pop stars.
Yeah.
And it's exactly that. It's talking about people, the most celebrated and the most kind of, the people that were driving culture were failures.
Yeah.
And had no particular talent, and sadly, it's still going on to today. I think.
Yeah, and I think the main thing of that is this celebrity culture give birth to the online culture where everyone, rather than being famous, is just advertising all their entire lives on social media.
Yeah, and then complain about the kicks they get from it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, it's going to happen.
They're putting every single thought or feeling online.
Yeah.
And then complaining when people comment on it.
Yeah, and this is it, isn't it? Because you're coming from such a kind of a low standing, then becoming in the public eye, you're going to get kicked.
Yeah, exactly.
People who are really famous, whose kind of dirty washing gets thrown out there, get less abuse than these people who are Z-rated celebrities.
Yeah, too true.
Because they have a bubble around them, because they've actually got a talent, I think.
Yeah.
And people
Got
actually...
that force field.
Yeah, and people actually celebrate something about them,
Yeah. Well, they contribute something.
Well, this is it, yeah, and that not only lyrically but melodically, musically, it's a really good album as well.
Really good jangling songs and stuff, isn't there? And
and it was very much kind of like mod music as well, which at the time I was kind of really into. Not so much now, but yeah, it spoke to me quite a bit. And as I said, like, it's not the biggest album of all time. It's certainly not the greatest. It's not an obvious choice for people to say, oh, that's an album that influenced me a lot. But yeah, I think if you're fed up of current culture and celebrity culture, then this is an album that kind of was the first album to talk out against it, really.
Yeah, I would say, give to the listeners, give it a listen, take it at face value, and don't just ignore what he did after.
Yeah,
that's probably the best thing to do, isn't it?
And that's the thing I played with about kind of nominating this for my album, is that he kind of joined the crowd he was stabbing in the back at the time.
Yeah. And they rejected him for it.
Yeah, and he probably regrets it now. I'm guessing.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I haven't heard of him for years.
No. Saw him a couple of times live around that time, but yeah, once that happened, it was kind of like,
I think Nevermind the Buzzcocks really killed his career.
I think so,
going
yeah.
on that and storming off when all he was doing, Simon Amstel was reading her book out.
Yeah.
About the Paris Hilton work drying up and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly, yeah.
He wasn't saying she's saying anything horrible about it. He was just simply reading out her book.
Yeah.
And her mindless thoughts to wind him up.
Well, this is it. He wanted to be considered as a serious musician and artist.
Yeah.
But he joined that club, hadn't he? He become part of the club, so he was fair cop, wasn't he, for it? So
yeah, exactly. And they don't reject anyone as much as a turncoat.
No, well, this is it. This is why he really got hammered. Yeah. I remember Morrissey at the time coming out and saying he thought he was one of the best songwriters for 30 years.
Yeah.
because of his lyrics. You know, looking at life itself, and and picking out something in life that was poisonous. I think. As I say, it's still probably ruling today. So
No one takes that crown off Morrissey.
but no one takes the crown off Morrissey now.
In terms of looking at the world in a bleak vision.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, that's my classic album. It's probably more of a personal album than anything. But yeah, for me, it's a classic album for me.
Excellent. That's a fantastic choice, mate. I like that one.
No worries.
Yeah. Cool. So that's it for another month.
Another month in the bag, done.
Yeah. God spares us. Who knows what they'll hold out for us next month? Maybe it might be a change in fortunes for our clubs. Maybe there might be some more weird stories on the horizon.
Yeah. I think we've nailed it with the puns now.
Oh yeah, I think we're on form now. You watch next week. We're just gonna next month. Sorry, we're just gonna deadpan. We won't be able to get a thing.
No,
it'll be like the French one.
Oh, the very first one, French exploding fly, whatever it was. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Very, very sad state of affairs. That pun.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
puns were for that. Yeah.
Never mind. Cool. Okay. Thank you very much for listening to our podcast. As ever, if you got any comments or want just a general chat, or if you're just lonely and want someone to talk to, just go onto Twitter. Tell us your favourite albums. Tell us who you support and how you feel about your club. And we'll be more than happy to listen. And if you don't want to do it publicly, just DM us. Not in a sexual way or anything like that.
No, please don't do that now.
Yeah, we've already had lots of Twitter follows from suspicious email accounts. Anyway,
Yeah.
Tune in now for my live chat, that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, click this link. Yeah, bigasiangirls.com or whatever it is. Yeah.
Click this link to see my pink.
Yeah. Disturbing.
Cool. Excellent. Okay then.
I'll speak to you next month, mate.
And you, mate. You take care and be safe.
You too. Bye, everyone.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.